gasworks croft. Dreamed a dream by the old canal, kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town. Heard a siren from the docks, saw a train set the night on fire, smelt the spring on the smoky wind. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
Prize for the craziest disc of the year, it will be sure to go to the next group. They're called the Freshies, and the title of their song, I'll have to read it. I'm in love with the girl on a certain Manchester megastore checkout desk. Beats me. The Freshies.
He's in love with the girl on a certain Manchester megastore checkout desk. I'm in love. He's in love with the girl on a certain Manchester megastore checkout desk. On the box, you get to see all the best in it. On the rocks, we're sipping drinks, but we will be with them when we hit the top. They'll be falling over us, but I'll stop their advances. 'Cause I'm in love. He's in love with the girl on a certain Manchester megastore checkout desk. I'm in love. He's in love with the girl on a certain Manchester megastore checkout desk.
I started the tours around 10 years ago, believe it or not. I don't do these morning tours very often anymore, but there was no other guide available, so you're stuck with me. But what a joy, when it's sunshine, there's people, this is fantastic. In case we don't know what we're about to do, I'll just explain. It's a walking tour of Manchester. It will last around 3 hours. There's a 20-minute break in the middle. 3 hours sounds like a long time. It's not. I promise you, for the whole thing, I'm going to be very fun and charming, and you'll not be bored once, or at least that is my ultimate goal. Don't get run over as we run through the tour, walk through the tour. We're not running. Yeah, just look after each other. They are here for a football game, or for a wedding, or cheap flights, or they're just passing through on their way to London. And yet, there are so many sort of like cocky, arrogant quotes that suggest everyone should come to Manchester for the sake of coming to Manchester. Like Noel Gallagher of Oasis, that great philosopher. He said, it all came from here. Maybe. The historian A.J.P. Taylor said, Manchester, it has everything apart from good looks. And Ian Brown of the Stone Roses, he built on that, and he said, Manchester, it has everything apart from a beach. Reverend Jesse Jackson said, London, it might be the capital, but Manchester is the soul. And there was a Victorian expression that said, what Manchester does today, the rest of the world does tomorrow. Don't worry, I'm not deluded. I know these are not all true, but I'm hoping just give me a few hours and I can convince you that you hear at all. Good morning, how are you doing? I've met the designer, Kerry Morrison, and she's now really embarrassed about this. It's like, no, you shouldn't be embarrassed. It's definitely got a quirky charm, don't you think? Yeah. The only thing is just the fruits. They could be melons, or olives, or gooseberry something. These are meant to be grapes.
I met a pretty girl once, so you really should have seen her. But I had to leave her on her own when she said, I like Ribena. I'd like to fill the reservoirs with Vimto, so we'd have Vimto coming out of our taps. I'd like to change that H2O into VIMTO, then put it in my thermos flask. Now I have been told that my mind is polluted, but if there is no water, I'll just drink it undiluted. If Jesus was alive today, he would have done it a different way, spending all his time turning water into Vimto. I'd like to fill the rain clouds with Vimto, so we'd have Vimto falling down upon our heads. I'd like to change that H2O into VIMTO, then put it in my thermos flask. It keeps it hot or cold. Put it in my thermos flask.
Stops it from tasting old.
Put it in my thermos flask. My old man's a dustman and he wears a dustman's cap. He likes fizzy Vimto, but he prefers it when it's flat.
All right, let's head away from. Have to play instruments. You can just play records instead. But also, they don't have money for records. So what do they play? They start to play instead their parents' records. This is like really uncool, like North American, like Motown adjacent, like kind of North American black music from about 10 years previous is what they start to play. And I love the posters at the time, because obviously before Spotify, right? If you had the record, everyone wanted to go to your night. So like, Steve's got Tainted Love. Like, oh my God, Steve's got to go to Steve's night because he's got Tainted Love. You know, it was the beginning of DJ culture as we know it today. It's funny because when you think about the birth of the DJ, you might be inclined to think about either like Paris or Berlin or Chicago, but actually these were young working class kids in Cleethorpes, Leeds, Wigan, Stoke-on-Trent, and in Manchester at a club called the Twisted Wheel. These are not any old bees though, these are the worker honeybees, and it's all that originally they became the symbol of the city during early industrialisation, because you'd look at the mills from a distance and you see the workers going in and out the mills, and it had this effect of bees going in and out of a hive. That's why specifically the bee is not just the symbol of the city, but of the Mancunian. Say the Mancunians, we are just like worker honeybees, because we are industrious, we are hard working, we are busy, and we all work together in our hive. For playing on an electric guitar. Does anyone know what the man shouted out? Shouted out, Judas, the biblical betrayal. Bob Dylan then, looking incredibly stoned, turns to the man and says, I don't believe you, you're a liar. Play fucking louder, before going into an electric version of Like a Rolling Stone. It made international press the next day, you know, this Judas comment. And then there was a record of that gig that was released. The record was released as Bob Dylan live at the Royal Albert Hall, because they thought, oh, you know, if we say Manchester, no one's going to want to buy the record, so we'll say it's London instead. And then, you know, there was a recent film. I've not seen the film, but then in the film, this Judas moment, I think that happens in the States. Like, will they never give Manchester its day? 29. 4 different versions of this building. One that you see today most closely resembles the extension to the exchange that dates from 1921. In 1921, again, don't trust tour guides who use superlatives, but it's thought to have been the single biggest commercial roof on Earth. What I really tried to communicate on the tour is that as the world's first industrialised city, Manchester was a template, in great ways, but also in really ugly ways for how those industrial cities were going to work and not work. And it feels like once again today, Manchester's once more acting as a template for how these new cities, this kind of Manchester 5 of rebirth, if you like, works in great ways and also in ugly ways too. Noel Gallagher, it all came from here. Is anyone convinced yet? Reverend Jesse Jackson said London might be the capital, but Manchester is the soul. Or Anthony Wilson, founder of Factory Records, said, but this is Manchester, and we do things differently here. Someone coming out of the Hacienda, out of their mind, said, on the 6th day, God created Manchester. Or do you know Lonely Planet, the tour guide book? Said, Manchester seems to be the only city in the UK that is cocky enough to square London in the eye and say, this is how it's done, mates. But there's only one quote I actually think is true, and I'll end with this quote and allow you to enjoy the rest of your afternoons. This comes from the historian Alan Kidd. This is what he said about Manchester. He said, every city has its own story, and of course every city has its own history. However, there are few cities, such as Manchester, that cannot say it has a history that belongs to itself, because instead, Manchester has a story, and it's a story that belongs to the world. And that's where I end. Thank you.
I met my love.